Hey cruisers, I'm Sherry with CruiseTipsTV.com. There's no doubt that cruise prices have gone up over the last few years. It's really hard to dispute that fact, but we are here to tell you today that we believe that there are absolutely ways to still get deals on a cruise. It can happen. We're going to give you 15 tricks today to pay less for your cruise. You don't need to use all 15 of them, but a couple of these combined will do wonders. Our first trick today is probably the very most important trick that you can employ when searching for a good deal on a cruise, and that is to cruise off season. Look for those dates in whatever region you're cruising to that just simply isn't the peak date. Now for Alaska, that's going to be April, May, and September, and now even October. Cruise lines like Norwegian are cruising into October these days, and you can get incredible deals off season in Alaska. Now for the Caribbean, okay, hear me out. It's actually hurricane season that's gonna give you some really good deals. Check out September and October. Now think about it. What also happens is in September and October, the kids go back to school. So those prices come down. So if you can hit the Caribbean in September and October, you're combining kids being back in school, lower demand, right? With hurricane season prices, and you're still gonna have a great cruise because that cruise line is going to keep you safe. Now, thinking about the Caribbean too, maybe you don't want to risk it with hurricane season and you don't want any changes to your itinerary. Look at early December before the holidays. There's some incredible bargains there. Same thing with the Mexican Riviera, folks. Mexican Riviera, when the kids aren't in school, right before the holidays, early December, early January even, can be great. So that is our number one tip for you, and you are going to be so glad that you did this. Now, if you're cruising to Europe, you're thinking of maybe December and January for good deals. Our number two tip is another fabulous tip, and that is to utilize your travel agent. But don't just use the travel agent in the traditional sense. What you want to do is ask your travel agent to look up group pricing for you. Their host agency has access to something called group rates. And when they block these rooms off, you can get unpublished deals that are just astounding. We have a travel agency referral, our partner travel agency, down in the description of this video if you want to check it out. Number three, be as flexible as you can about the dates that you will cruise. Now this ties very closely into tip number one, which was to cruise during the off season. But a smart tip, if you just want to try to get a deal, is don't go into booking a cruise with any set idea of a date you want to go. Just pull up the cruise line website and look at all of the different dates available for that ship and check to see which one is more or less expensive. It is very, very rare for a cruise line to price a sailing the same from week to week. Date flexibility is a strategy that experienced cruisers use with success all the time. Okay, our number four tip today is to choose a budget cruise line from the start. So in the comments, tell me, what do you think of when you think of a budget cruise line? Personally, I think of two cruise lines in particular in the United States, North American cruise lines particularly, or cruise lines cruising from the US. And those two cruise lines that I think you can find the best deals on are going to be Carnival Cruise Line and these days, MSC. I think MSC is a bargain contender with Carnival, and check them out. They have some incredible deals. Now that's not to say that Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, Princess, and Holland America and the other mass market lines do not have deals. They absolutely do, but you're gonna have good luck getting a good value on Carnival or MSC. Tip number five, choose budget cruise destinations. Budget cruise destinations include the Caribbean, the Mexican Caribbean, so sailing out of Texas or sort of Western Caribbean voyages, and the Mexican Riviera. They just simply tend to be the least expensive, while Alaska and Europe tend to be more pricey in general. Tip number six, book your cruise early. This is a really good tip, especially if you're booking with a cruise line like Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean tends to offer their cheapest prices in the very beginning. So book early, secure the cabin that you want, and if you change your mind, you can always cancel later. Number seven is the opposite of number six, and that is to book late or book last minute. Some people might tell you that last minute deals are gone. It is not true. If the cruise line does not sell out that voyage, this tip could be very effective. Yes, it's risky. Yes, you have to be available to cruise at the last minute, but folks, last minute cruise deals, they're absolutely still a thing. Tip number 8, cruise on older ships and avoid newer cruise ships. It just makes sense that when a cruise line comes out with a new ship, it's popular, right? There's a lot of demand for it. It's exciting for people. They're thinking, oh, I want to get on that new ship, like Wonder of the Seas from Royal Caribbean right now. It's pricey to cruise on Wonder of the Seas, but if you were to look on Allure of the Seas, an older ship, same class, or even Harmony or Symphony, you're going to see those cruise prices hundreds or even thousands of dollars less. So cruise on the older ships and avoid the brand new ships. Tip number 9, look at longer cruises with fewer port days. Now, what do we mean by that? We mean a lot of different things. You might look at a cruise to or through the Panama Canal. It's a little bit longer. They actually tend to be relatively inexpensive. Trans-Pacific cruises, transatlantic cruises, and repositioning cruises all offer lower prices per day, really, when you think about it, because there's just fewer ports. So we love this tip. Tip number 10 is to join your cruise line's casino program. Even if you're not a big gambler, even if you're just going to go put 20 bucks in the slot machine, make sure that you join the cruise line's casino program. You never know when you might find some deals, right? You might be able to do it. Experienced cruisers swear by this tip. The problem is it's not really super consistent. So we can't make any promises about this one, but it can't hurt to give it a try. Number 11 is a tip that a lot of people simply don't know about, and that is to get on the cruise line's email list. Now, cruise lines email out their best deals, and they also email out something else: last minute deals. When they don't fill that ship, how smart is it for them to tap into their email list to try to sell those cabins? If you're on the cruise line's email list, you might get emails about those last minute deals, and you can still absolutely use your travel agent to book that cruise. Just look at the deal from the cruise line. Okay, number 12 is one of my favorite old school cruise tips, and that is to set a price alert at cruiseline.com. So go to cruiseline.com, find the voyage that you're interested in, find the specific date you're interested in, and then look for the little toggle switch that says set a price alert. You will be asked to enter your email really quickly, and cruiseline.com will email you when the price goes up or down so you can keep an eye on those prices. Tip number 13, consider booking an inside cabin. I know, this is kind of from the no-duh university school of thinking, right? Obviously, inside cabins are the least expensive, but there are people out there who only ever cruise in inside cabins, and they're going on 3 or 4 times more cruises than I am every year. It's a smart strategy. So if you can handle an inside cabin, consider it and cruise more often. It's something that a lot of seasoned cruisers also do. Another type of cabin you might want to consider on some cruise lines is a guarantee cabin. This can work really well, again, with Royal Caribbean. They offer guarantee cabins, and those prices tend to be a little bit lower. Just remember, you don't get to choose your cabin, but you will be guaranteed a cabin within that cabin category or higher. So it's a really good strategy, and it can save you a ton of money. Tip number 15, our final tip for saving money when you book your cruise, is simply to book a cruise close to your home and drive to the port, right? So if you don't have to fly to your cruise, you don't have to book a pre-cruise hotel, you don't have to book as much transportation to the port, you are going to save money. So choose those cruise ships and those departures that are kind of closer to home. Drive to port to save money. Okay, what did you think about these 15 tips? What do you do to get really good deals on cruises? I'm sure that we've missed some tips and tricks. So for our OG Cruise Tips TV subscribers out there, be sure to let us know your tips. I also just realized I completely forgot to introduce myself in this video. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Sherry with CruiseTipsTV.com. My family and I create cruise travel content to help you save money and create your dream cruises, and we would love to invite you to subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye-bye.